Welcome to Pot of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting. Guess who? Guess who? Oh, come on. It's right there.
Hey, my buddy Andy.
It's me, and rest in peace, Rip Torn. It's your buddy Andy, America's little brother. And as always, well, as most of the time, and hopefully for always, I'm joined by Gnarly Nick the Garlic Dragon.
Bam! Bam!
There he is. What's going on, Nick?
Oh, it took too long for me. It's still loading it. There it is.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, good.
You can keep it going for this next one.
Okay. And the man to Nick's immediate left, the breakout star of the podcast medium, ladies and gentlemen. This man was once described as...
He was a moocher, a card cheat, a country club golf hustler, a scumbag.
It's Crystal.
Okay. Turn off. Okay.
Yeah. So... Hey guys, I like that. So Nick's adding the mariachi to everything. So anytime I want to play a clip, that's going to come up, right?
Makes everything better.
So like anytime I want to play a clip?
Yeah, anytime at all.
So I could play anything I want at any time, whatever. And maybe it'll...
You guys deserve way better than this jerk-off did tonight. I'm sorry.
Good.
We're at the mercy of a lot of things here.
That's fine.
With this new gimmick.
Yeah. Organic comedy. Isn't that what we're doing? It's on the fly.
That just means more expensive comedy.
Yeah, is that what it is? Like a grocery store?
Yeah.
Well, we're not getting... wherever that money's going, it's not coming here.
No. That
nor
much
should
is
it.
established.
It's gone somewhere else. So anyway, welcome to Pot of Thunder, brought to you by Blue Microphones. They look great, and they sound even better. Sounds so good today, doesn't it, guys? Oh, what a day. That sounds beautiful. Yeah, look at that. Pick that up. Perfectly executed sonic recording of that trumpet. Love it.
Might have to hire a live mariachi band to sit in with us one of these weeks.
How much could it cost for like an hour?
Off season, probably reasonable. Apparently on like Cinco de Mayo or something like that, these guys just rake it in.
Really?
They're working 16 straight hours and just raking it in at every stop.
Where are they working during the day? I guess a restaurant or something.
Yeah, like private parties.
So sometime in the winter would be ideal, or what?
I would say winter would be good.
Yeah, because
a weekday winter.
You don't associate that kind of music with cold weather. It's usually some sort of warm weather celebration.
Yeah. Do you think there are offices that hire them to come in and play for everyone?
Oh, yeah, guaranteed rate. When I used to work there, they tried to hire a mariachi band like 2 days before Cinco de Mayo. It's like, you're not going to find an available mariachi band at the stage.
They're underestimating what a big deal that is.
Yeah.
In the the mariachi band world, that's as big of a deal as it is. That's the day.
Yeah. That's when you book them for next year.
Yeah,
right.
Probably like now or exactly a year in advance.
Yeah.
Get them on the books.
Or if you want them on like May 8th, you can call them on May 7th. But if you're trying to get them on May 5th,
forget it.
It's not happening.
You got to put down a deposit ahead of time. You got to make sure Raimundo doesn't double book them and not honor your booking.
Yeah, exactly. Fortunately, he doesn't have two nickels to rub together.
No, he doesn't.
He can't afford mariachi on a
total waste of skin and life.
He is. You think you'll ever run into him again?
I don't know.
Well,
who knows?
Maybe it'll be in Hawaii when we luau this fat pig's ass.
Hawaii, Pierogi Fest, toss up.
Yeah. Yeah. So last week we unearthed the lost recording of Ricardo Jones, El Rancho, Ricardo Jones, and the number 12 combo. Big hit. A lot of positive feedback we got from our listeners.
I just put it into context in case nobody, or in case we have some new listeners, they missed it last week.
Sure.
You probably heard of the fire at the Universal storage facility that wiped out thousands.
Yeah, I think.
I feel like it's
tens of thousands, maybe.
It
Master tapes.
It might have even gone as far as to say hundreds of
I
thousands.
was about to say it might have been up there. Like wiped out almost every. Your dick is rubbing up against something again. It's making that noise. Fix that.
All right. I'll point it the other way.
Yeah. It's the
Down.
The hundreds of thousands, I don't think that's much of an exaggeration, of master tapes of some of the most iconic artists and recordings in history lost to fire. We already discussed, the whole cover-up and the delay and the outrage over it.
Cover-up, yeah.
But
conspiracy theories of how it really started.
We have obtained 3, right?
Yeah.
There's 3 master tapes of material from. Are they all from the late 50s?
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
They're all from the same year, I think.
Okay, all from the late 50s, 1958, if it's the same year.
Yeah, I believe so.
Last week was the Ricardo Jones recording that we played. People seemed to enjoy it as well they should have. It was a potent piece of Latino heat from back in the day.
Yep.
Now this week, we got a little something that's just going to turn the world upside down, I think.
Really?
Now, Nick sent this to me because there actually might be an ancestral, not ancestral, but ancestral connection to me with this recording.
Entirely possible.
The reason why we think that is because the name of the artist is The Big Thropper. And
the Big Thropper.
Yeah. Now, my last name, the Chris L. shtick, we're all well aware of it. My ill-fated attempt to hide my last name, which had been published all over the internet for years at that point. So my last name is Lathrop. So the last 5 letters, Thrup or Throp, and here we have the Big Thropper.
Big Thropper.
So Nick sent this over to me, and I don't even know what to say about it. It's going to speak for itself, as you'll hear. And I think I need to go to what is that, Ancestry.com or whatever, and see if there's a connection.
Well, we'll let the listeners. They can help us decide whether there's a resemblance.
Okay.
Or if I even want there to be a resemblance. All I'm going to say is this recording just left me slack-jawed when I listened to it. I think it's really going to turn the entertainment industry upside down, of people scrambling to connect the dots as to how this happened, what it means, who was responsible for it.
And it's interesting too. Most masters don't have the handwritten lyric sheet with it. This one does.
Oh, handwritten,
some cross outs, some
do you have it?
Revision. Yeah, it was folded up with the master. Interesting.
We might have to take a picture of that.
That's good, because my initial listen, there were a couple of misheard lyrics, and then I looked at the sheet and realized what was originally intended was
it was probably not as bad.
Be beat.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it wasn't as bad as what was in your mind.
No. Usually I prefer my own misheard lyrics, not in this case.
Okay.
A masterpiece as it was created.
Oh, do we know the title of the song by the Big Thropper?
We do know the title.
Okay.
Have you shared the title with Andy?
I don't know it.
I don't believe so.
I don't have my glasses on. I can't see what you got.
Do you want to hear it before this song? Or
I don't know.
Might as well, since you asked, right?
Sure.
Give you a slight indication of the subversive, controversial subject matter for the time, even of this time when you think about it. But the title is You Give Good Face.
Oh, my God. Okay. You Give Good Face by the Big Thropper.
Now, as you can hear, it's similarities to the Big Bopper Chantilly Lace.
You Give Good Face.
As Nick kind of alluded to last episode about Hendrix doing a version of Sgt. Pepper within days of it being released.
Yeah.
There were also like sort of competing songs, retaliatory songs.
Yeah.
Songs trying to capitalize on the success of other artists. This would fall into any or all of those categories.
Which one is the chicken and which one is the egg?
Yeah, in this case, do we know?
Hard to say.
Hard to say. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I think this song is going to send music historians scrambling to try and piece together what is something that will truly blow your mind, I think.
All right, well, I say...
Let's get fucking flying!
All right.
All right, ready, Andy?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Hello, baby. Yeah, this is the Big Thropper speaking. Oh, you sweet thing. Do I what? Will I what? Oh, baby, you know what I like. You give good face at a nice slow pace to that veiny thing I got hanging down. Let me flop onto my back so my flute you can attack. Fellatio makes the world go round. Ain't nothing in the world like a big-eyed girl. Take my meat spear deep, take it all from the street. Make me blow my load like a horny fucking toad. Oh, baby, that's what I like.
Wow. Oh. So you give good face.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now think of that. Think of that coming out in 1958.
That's shocking.
What the reaction would be.
Like you said, that's shocking today. In 1958, I can't. No wonder this was an unreleased song, right?
Yeah, as Nick and I discussed, there would surely have been Big Thropper record burning parties in the streets, organized by churches.
Yeah, a steamroller.
Protests, shutting down of Big Thropper gigs for having this released. I mean, you just don't hear stuff like this. Certainly not back then.
And then, as Chris mentioned, it would have been about 34 years before public outcry of that magnitude would have been matched due to a musical recording.
That's when Body Count would come out.
Yeah. That's so you think that's pretty much what the girl is saying to him on the other end of the phone in the Chantilly Lace?
It must be. It got him talking about it. Oh, in Chantilly Lace.
Well, because Chantilly Lace, you don't know what she's saying.
You don't know what she's saying.
It's all in. It's if you say that's a dirty song, it's because you thought the dirtiness.
Well, here's the thing.
You brought the dirtiness to the table.
It could be the same thing being said by the person on the other end of the phone. It's just the reaction of the Big Bopper versus the reaction of the Big Thropper. You know, the way they interpret what's being said.
You mean the coyness of the big Bopper versus The lack of coyness of the big thropper.
Precisely.
Well, I think they both heard similar things.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just the big thropper just sort of laid it all out on the table afterwards.
Either that or he had a bad connection and he was like repeating what he thought she was saying.
Completely not it.
It was actually a wrong number. He just went with it at that point. Were you able to make out all those lyrics?
There were a couple I think I didn't get.
Yeah.
Do you have it in front of you?
We got the sheet here.
Yeah, could you
I
read?
do.
I don't. Again, me host not so good. I don't have my glasses on. Can you read it to me?
Yeah, you have the typical, the pretty much direct rip of or what was directly ripped at the beginning. Hello, baby. This is the big thropper speaking. Ha ha ha! Oh, you sweet thing. Do I what? Will I what? Oh, baby, you know what I like.
Okay,
so that's pretty standard. Then we get into it. You give good face at a nice slow pace to that veiny thing I got hanging down. Let me flop.
You like that, huh?
Let me flop onto my back so my flute you can attack.
wow.
Fellatio
That's nice for daddy.
makes the world go round. Who could argue with that sentiment, by the way?
How about it?
Wars have been fought over fellatio throughout history.
Probably true, actually.
And
yeah,
then
I'm
we've
sure it is
got
true.
Ain't Nothing in the World Like a Big-Eyed Girl. Take my meat spear deep. Take it all from this creep.
Scream.
Make me blow my load like a horny fucking toad. Oh, baby, that's what I like. So you have cursing. You have just, self-deprecating, calling himself a creep.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have the tail end of it, where it's just basically the sound of an individual reaching the climax. None of this stuff was there was no precedent for any of it back in 1958.
This was
A real pioneer of music.
a musical equivalent of what Lenny Bruce would have been doing or about to do at that time.
I think it's beyond that.
I don't know what year Lenny Bruce was getting arrested and whatever, but
I don't think he was taking it this far. Not quite yet.
No.
You know what they would have said, or what they probably did say when this came out?
How dare him? How dare him?
Yeah, I think that was said repeatedly about this to anybody who heard it. And thankfully, the master tape has survived and is in our possession. So,
Wow. Well, we will play that again in its entirety at the end of the show. So if you want an uninterrupted version without us giggling.
We have one more left.
And there's one more left, huh?
One more.
Looking forward to hearing what that is.
And did you guys notice that the backing band sounded similar to the El Rancho recording?
It did. There's a similar tone in, especially in the drums. There's
kind
a
of
similar
interesting.
tone.
it's kind of
Probably-
like the wrecking crew of the 50s. Just played
more
on
like-
everything.
Or like the janitorial staff.
The after hours guys.
The custodial crew.
Yeah. The rectum crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, for this song.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome. Big fan. We should probably post that on our YouTube
I think we will.
I think it'll be up there.
along with Ricardo
Ricardo
Honias.
Honias is up there.
Do we have the rights to publish? Are we going to get in trouble?
Well, we own these masters.
We do
now.
own them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Well, you know how it goes on YouTube. You can just put in the comments, "I claim no ownership of this song." Blah, blah,
no
blah.
copyright infringement intended.
Or
Intended.
people they cut
Doing it, but
They
I'm-
cut.
Yeah.
They cut and paste the fair use description, which again doesn't apply to that.
Was it Act 176 or something
Yeah.
like that?
Why post anything?
Yeah.
If the
So if-
artist wants to take it down, it's going down.
Well, plus by posting that, you're guilty of some bullshit.
Of course.
Yeah. That's
So why
that's
say
like
anything?
that's like the big thropper telling the girl he's a creep.
Yeah,
It's like just because you're
It's
acknowledging
absolving himself of any responsibility.
Whatever. I'm a big Thropper fan. Do we know whatever happened to this guy?
No, like I said, this is going to be the job of music historians to retrace the steps and find out whatever became of this guy, where he came from, what happened to him.
Wow. I'm going to say massive heart attack, 1959. Or maybe 1958 even.
I'm going to say...
During this phone, after that climax.
I'm going to say he did some time before and possibly after the song.
Beaten to death by angry father or 7. Who knows?
Or could have been his.
Maybe he
even.
made the mistake of attending his own record burning. He busted out a "Hello Babies" at everybody from the sidewalk.
Beaten to death with a rolling pin.
Actually, they lured him in by telling him it was a release party, and they ended up killing him.
He thought it was a different kind of release party.
Right.
All right. Well, that was that. How about it? Okay. I love it. All right. So, what's the deal today? It's a random choice from the listener submission list, approved by Nick. Is that correct?
I
That's
believe so.
the next order of business, yep.
Okay. So we will
I
pull...
don't think Nick's ever done this exercise.
A little nervous.
No, he hasn't.
It's no big deal. Just
Might
pull
be here
one
all
up.
night.
If you like it, we do it. If you don't, we Bushwick Bill it.
Let me get that clip ready just in case. All right, Nick. Do you want to make your way over here?
Yeah.
Oh, God, where is it? There you go. Okay, so this is what it is.
He's looking at it intently.
Well,
Move along to the next trick.
Yeah, he rejected it.
Nick stuck his bottom lip out and shook his head from side to side. Dismissed. This was which one? Okay. Let's try another one here. Is this one going to make Nick happy? Right.
Which one are we looking at here?
This side of the room, it looks like a band that has a lot of representation on the list.
It is, but is it the right song? That's the question. I think that's going through Nick's mind as he's leaning over me wearing a Flying Aaron's t-shirt.
I'll go with it. Why not?
It's going to happen?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
All right.
Well, there we go. Only one move along to the next trick today.
Not bad.
Well,
The next trick is still on the list, just in case anybody's wondering. It's just Nick decided he didn't want to do it.
he wasn't in the mood today.
Not eliminated.
Yeah, not eliminated.
Andy or I might want to do it at a later date.
Probably not.
And
But
we generally don't reveal what's been rejected for that same reason. So
yeah. All right, well, it's time, guys. It's time to hand the microphone over to Chris Jericho and announce what Nick and I already know, and Chris couldn't see from where he's sitting, and everyone else knows. Here we go.
All right, Hammo. This one's called
Baby Drives Me Crazy,
Off of
live and dangerous,
by the band.
Thin Lizzy.
Ow! Oh!
First live
yeah,
song.
I was going to say this
Ever.
is somewhat
We
unprecedented.
didn't do any for Kiss.
No,
So there you
no,
go.
we made a conscious decision to do only the studio versions.
And I don't recall this song. I know I've listened to this album, but I don't know this one. I'm sure Chris does. But I like the title.
And I believe this is the song that features harmonica from one Huey Lewis,
well, now we're talking.
who was I believe the opening band for some of these dates that were recorded for this album was Clover. Which featured bluesy Huey Lewis
And I
on the
believe
harmonica.
the rest of the band went on to be Elvis Costello's backing band.
I think some of them
I believe so.
did. I think their guitarist went on to join the Doobie Brothers. John McVie.
So basically everyone...
McPhee, I'm sorry. McVie
so-
would be in the Fleetwood Mac.
McVeigh would be a serial killer bomber.
It's
or whatever.
worm
Not serial
food
killer.
at the moment.
Yeah. So basically everyone on this tour became someone in one way or another.
Yeah.
That happens probably very rarely, right?
Yeah, I don't know who else would have, if they had a third band, lesser known perhaps, but
The Big Thropper. His disco phase in the 70s.
The number 13 combo, maybe.
Yeah, he did a similar song to Disco Duck, but with a different lyric.
oh boy.
He was booed off the stage in every city.
So who submitted this one?
This was submitted by Greg Troyan.
Oh, there you go.
And he
And
says,
I know he's going to have comments.
Thin Lizzy all day, every day.
Okay. It's an interesting choice, though. I'm sure it's not his only one, but
I would say they're probably, from Greg, for Thin Lizzy,
geez, look at all that.
it looks like the entire catalog of Thin
So
Lizzy.
the buckshot.
I don't know. It might have been 60.
Either a buckshot sort of strategy or just a cannonball.
Yeah, one or the
he
other.
used.
He was
Wow.
bound to get one of these on, and he
And
did.
casting a wide net, so that explains why we got something of a deep cut.
And this is track 16 of 17 on this live album. What are your thoughts on the song itself, Chris? I don't know it. Nick, did you say you know the song at all? Or no.
I'm sure I've heard it, but it's not at all coming to me. Thin Lizzy's a band where it just seems like in recent years. I mean, I know there are people who legitimately have been huge fans for a long time, but they've become like the cool band, like as far as classic rock. As far as if you're gonna go talking about bands that you like classic rock bands,
You get cred for Thin Lizzy?
Lizzy's stock has gone up like
I could see that.
just exponentially over the past few years. It just seems like, and not saying that they don't deserve it or anything like that. They're a great band, or were a great band. Still, I guess are right. They're still carrying on.
Yeah,
or no?
I think they're playing some shows under the Thin Lizzy name with the Black Star Rider crew. I don't think Brian Downey is playing drums anymore. So, but I think with Gorham in the band, they have most people's blessings to use the name, and I think they're just doing a couple festival dates under that name.
That's good. Why not?
Yeah, I mean they do it with reverence. It's
Yeah.
not a pure money grab, which wouldn't be that in the States. I'm sure the audiences for them were much bigger over in Europe, but
Seems like that's the case for every band, every rock band, especially.
probably almost every musical act.
It seems like.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's real or if that's just the way it seems, but I can't keep track of how many gigantic festivals they have in Europe that are like 3 or 4 days with whatever 100,000 people, and how many do we have here? Like 3, 4, and a lot of the bands here are. What's a good word to say? That's not too mean. I don't know, like second tier or something.
I guess.
But then you
so.
look at like some of these European festivals, and it's all giant bands on the top. So
Yeah, it's,
I don't know what-
it must be just a bigger thing in their culture.
there must be something financial about it too for these
Yeah.
bands to all want to do those shows. Like they're all getting brought in, they're all getting good checks. I'm assuming. So, whatever.
I wonder if they still sell records and I mean not literal records like CDs. I wonder if they still actually sell in Europe. Is there a bigger market than there is here?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Music industry. It seems. I don't know. We could go in a million different directions about what's wrong with how. Either what's wrong or what's different with things now versus back then. But.
And how long is this one?
It's on the long side. 7 minutes and 10
oh
seconds.
dear.
But it's going to have a lot of Huey Lewis in it. So.
Okay, well, I'm not complaining about that.
About as long as Huey Lewis's Schwanz is purported to be the case. One
That's
of
the rumor, huh?
Most reputed, most well hung individuals in the annals of rock. The Big Thropper will probably
The big throbber.
rival that distinction. But
So, well, I'm curious to hear it.
Right.
Yeah, because I know Huey Lewis. Yeah, I remember bringing this up some months ago, and I'm like, yeah, didn't Huey Lewis have something to do with Thin Lizzy in a live capacity? And here it is.
of this album, would probably be my least go-to track if I'm just plucking ones to listen to. But still pretty cool. Well, let's delve into it and see what we think.
Let's do it.
Wanna hear you singing on this one.
Getting a big Blues Brothers kind of vibe here. I mean, obviously, it's the blues with the prevalent harmonica.
Sweet Home Chicago.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, as you can tell, it's going to be kind of a straight blues rendering that they do here, which is generally not my favorite thing to hear. And it's kind of the type of thing where if you're going to have guest musicians come up, it's an easy thing to do. Everybody kind of knows the changes, knows the tempos and stuff, but it can get a little boring, worn out. But I wouldn't necessarily say that's the case here, but in general, like when you have all-star jams at the Hall of Fame inductions and whatever else, it's just I don't know, you fall back on it and it can get kind of boring, ill-advised.
You know it by now. Can you sing it? Can you sing it? I said, baby, baby, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Boo, 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 baby. 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 Someone call baby, drop it, crazy. Baby, drop it, crazy. Baby, drop it, crazy.
Now, Phil Wynot, of course, renowned, legendary frontman, knew how to work a crowd.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Seems like it.
sort of that call and response is always a guaranteed winner when you're trying to get a crowd involved.
If you have a crowd, right?
Yeah, it helps to have a crowd.
I was gonna say,
but-
I'm not saying that about Thin Lizzy. I'm just saying, like, if you've ever gone to a show where someone's trying to do that and it's an audience that doesn't care at all and there's like 20 people there or
kind
something.
of like an Ozzy tribute
Exactly.
band at a local carnival in the middle of the
Exactly.
day.
There's a time and place to try to
Yeah.
get the audience involved. And when they're not engaged and barely there, that's not the time
Well,
to do it.
and when you have that kind of situation, if you're one of the people in the audience, you don't want to be the one guy standing out.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, there's usually someone who's very inebriated who has no problem, but they're usually walking past the stage, yelling at it.
Yeah, right. Urinating in their pants, which actually I've seen happen before.
Yes.
Where there's someone with a giant wet spot in the front of their pants,
Then-
yelling
then
at the band. You're like,
Naturally,
awesome.
naturally, you hand them a microphone,
Of course.
Yeah,
like we did.
exactly.
Of course.
Or typically in the cargo pocket of those pants, they're actually carrying a harmonica so you can have them up on stage. And ask any musician, and there is nothing better than when a harmonica player wants to join you on stage. Hell on earth is when that happens.
That happened to you at some point?
but
Yeah.
it's kind of a renowned thing that You know, the fucking some dickhead with a harmonica will be like, yeah, I want to sit in with the band.
Hey man, I got my harp with me today.
Exactly.
Sit in with you
Or
guys.
worse, he pulls out a whole sleeve of them because he wants to
What
make
key
sure he's
are we
in the right
playing?
key. Which I guess technically is better than playing in the wrong key, but just stay away from the stage. Get your own gig. For anybody who just wants to sit in with the band, it's not how it works.
Crazy about you, baby. Baby, drive me crazy. Look at crazy. Walking crazy. Sugar baby, sweet love. Sugar baby, sweet love.
So we got some more call and response. We've got the
Huey stepping forward in the mix,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting
thrusting his big dick out toward the audience.
that Huey Lewis, one of the like just a guy blessed with a voice.
Yeah.
Like you can't deny it. Whatever you may think of, you know, if you're an American Psycho out there lamenting the commercialization of Huey Lewis, then you may not enjoy what I'm saying right now. But just an unbelievable voice, and I mean Phil Lynott, of course, great voice too. But it's just interesting that Huey's just playing harmonica, and he's got that incredible voice.
Right.
That
Well,
he's
you
just
know.
kind of like laying low with it.
I mean, you bringing the guy out on stage.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's not really going to upstage. Nobody's really going to upstage Phil Lynott at this stage. But I've never actually even heard any Clover material. Not even sure what it sounds like. Was he even the front man and the main vocalist? I don't even have
No,
any
I think
idea.
it was like a shared. I remember watching a live video once, and I don't know if it was Winterland. It
It's
might
like
have.
Wicked Lester, kind of.
It was something like
Similar
that,
vibe.
where he was kind of not really the front man, but he was there prominently and would take some leads and
There's like 40 guys all singing
Well,
and playing weird instruments.
not quite that many, but yeah, it was more of a thing where like, okay, this is my song, this is
Yeah,
your song,
right.
this is his song.
Yeah. You know, Huey Lewis, I don't know why we're talking about Huey Lewis other than the harmonica, but he does a voice on a show on the Disney Channel that my daughter watches.
Really?
Yeah, he does. He's on Puppy Dog Pals.
Currently?
Yeah.
Who is?
Huey Lewis.
Really?
Yeah. But just hearing his speaking voice, you're like, if I was, whatever, some kind of record company executive and that guy started talking to me, I'd be like, all right, how much money can we throw at you to get you to start recording with us? His voice is incredible, just
Yeah.
talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so.
Blessed with a voice.
Yeah.
A lot of money to be made from those
Just-
vocal cords.
Yeah, a guy, and his speaking voice is just, and all he has to do is, you know, kick it up,
Yeah.
and,
right,
and it's
then,
just like, okay.
And then that's his singing voice.
That's,
yeah.
it's no fair, but
And as we know, he could play a hell of a harmonica. Working for a living, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He rips into those harmonica solos.
Traditionally, I don't like the harmonica.
It's overdone. It's usually played by someone who sucks at
That's
it.
the problem. Because you can suck at it and
Right.
sort of
you could not know what you're doing at all and pull it off.
and kind of pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
it's
mean,
in key.
yeah.
You just blow in
Right.
it, but he's actually knows what notes
yeah.
he's hitting in the key. That's the difference.
Yeah, it's not just about rhythm in this case.
Yeah.
Right.
and just being lucky.
Yeah.
And this also the call and response that they're doing here is reminiscent of Louis Prima and Sam Butera.
From what?
He would do some sort of gibberish, and then Sam Butera would with the saxophone.
Oh, okay,
He'd
yeah,
mimic
yeah.
it, and then Louis Prima would keep going back and forth,
Until
and,
he'd get-
and then he would just do a ridiculous one that nobody could keep up with, and he'd say, "Hey, what's the matter? Come on."
Is that like Pennies from Heaven? Is that?
I'm
one that
pretty
does
sure
that?
he does it
Yeah.
in that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I recognize that now.
yeah, great move.
Whatever.
And while Andy's clicking, Oh, sorry, Huey. So pretty much you put something like this into a live set to kind of show off the chops of the guitar players. Is that pretty much what it's about?
Like I said, when you're bringing in guest musicians and you want to make sure that there can be some cohesion, everybody knows the blues progression. I mean, Thin Lizzy does not or did not have to rely on a 1-4-5 to show off the chops of the guitar players. They were on display in every damn thing they ever did. The previous two solos, usually I can tell the difference between Robertson and Gorham. I couldn't honestly tell you who played the first solo and who played the second. They were pretty similar. And they always had pretty similar styles anyway, but Gorham was always kind of smoother with his phrasing, whereas Robertson had a little more aggressive approach to it. Also did a lot of wah-wah work. So I will admit that I do not know who played the first solo there and who played the second. So I guess I have to turn in my Thin Lizzy fan card. But.
And Andy's got the album cover up. It's a great album cover.
Yeah, it is.
For a live album especially.
Mm-hmm.
Just...
Well, this is one that when you're flipping through the vinyl at the record store, you come to this, it jumps right out at you. This is one that I remember seeing and just like, okay, I'm not fully sure what's on here, but it's got to be good. And this was right at the apex of when all the great live albums were coming out. Obviously Kiss Alive.
This is 78.
78?
Hold on. Oh, okay, wait.
76.
Released in 78, recorded 76 and 77.
Oh, okay.
In Toronto and London.
I thought it was released earlier than that, but still pretty. Alive 2 came out in 78, so there's definitely still a big market for these albums. But you had
and then when did Frampton's
that was 76. It had been.
And then Cheap Trick would have been
77, maybe
around this, probably 78, right? Because that was after the second album, I think. I don't know.
You would know better than me. I'm gonna go with what you say.
Around that time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, and the other one that doesn't get mentioned a lot that actually I think preceded all of those. I think it came out same year as Kiss Alive, but it's also incredible. Is Live Bullet, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. That's the sound of this album, this track in particular that we're listening to on this episode is reminiscent of Live Bullet. Just that, just in terms of capturing that atmosphere of being at a concert of this type in this era.
How many harmonicas are there?
Is there someone else playing one?
Have you ever tried to play harmonica like the correct way where you're just doing certain notes?
I have a very limited understanding of it, but isn't it something where you use your tongue?
You use your tongue to mute
other notes so you don't hit them?
Yeah, and breathing in and inhaling as opposed to exhaling, you get a different note.
Oh, really? Yeah, I guess you do.
Yeah, so it's nothing to sneeze at. If somebody who really knows how to play it, it's pretty impressive, especially if you've ever attempted it, reading it out of an instructional book, how to do it properly.
Yeah, no. I mean,
it's like finger and tongue and exhale versus inhale. And
sounds like the big
dirty,
thropper.
Yeah. What happens when the big thropper flops onto his back? The harmonica playing commences. His groin area. But yeah, I mean, guys who do it well, or more than well, the guys who are great at it are, just like anything else. The greats are the greats, but it just seems like the harmonicas disproportionately has a bunch of people who have no damn clue what they're doing, thinking that they're a harmonica player.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
Two harmonica solos that just like have a strange to me, like unique sound, but it comes off pretty cool. There's two very different songs that are coming to mind.
Okay.
One is Chaka Khan's "I Feel for You."
There you go.
That's weird, an odd
and
sounding.
Another one where, in lieu of a guitar solo on the Talk Show album, there's a song called "Peeling an Orange." Has a just interesting kind of sounding, interesting choice going with the harmonica solo.
Whose Talk Show again?
That's
Stone
Temple Pilots and a singer that unfortunately kind of
not a name.
Not Dave Couts was his name, but
okay.
And I think he's getting back into it a little bit musically, but yeah, unfortunately he really isn't as prominent a figure as he should have been.
Got it.
But yeah, harmonica's an interesting instrument.
Yeah. Who could forget that famous harmonica album, Honkin' on Thropo?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Recorded live at some correctional facility.
Thropo, another lost Marx brother back in the day. How many Marx brothers were there? We just added another one in the mix. Thropo.
And then the Three Stooges had Curly Thropo.
Yeah, right. Oh, and I'd be remiss at this point if I didn't point out that the nickname of Thin Lizzy guitarist Brian Robertson, of course, is Robbo.
Okay.
So it's all blending together.
Robbo, Thropo.
Yeah, right.
Remember Honking on Thropo also had security camera footage that came with it that was used as evidence in court?
Of course, there was the infamous involving Thropo, the low speed Pinto chase that occurred. Another precursor to things that followed. This guy was a revolutionary.
He was driving it in reverse the whole time, he didn't want anybody to ram into him and take him out.
Right, exactly. Just driving around demolition derby style.
This time, gonna introduce the gang to you. Like to make a lot of.
How do you guys feel about when they do this at shows?
I could do without it. I could do without.
It's not
the blues number in general.
It's not for the audience. It's for the band when they do this.
Yeah, when they introduce all the
crowds seem to enjoy it, though. I mean, they respond to it.
I guess it's.
I feel like you're obligated to clap.
I don't think it's done anymore. It's one of those things that's gone by the wayside, for better or for worse. The fucking Arcade Fire guy isn't initiating a breakdown and introducing the chick who's playing the washboard or whatever the fuck she's doing over there. You don't have this really in modern music at any of these festivals that we talk about.
I went to a show not that long ago where they did this, but it was sort of a unique setting. It was one of those all-star tribute things where they get a bunch of musicians from other bands.
Right.
And it was a tribute to David Bowie.
Oh, okay.
So they had like Corey Glover from Living Colour.
Right.
And other people too. Like some people I never heard of, but they did a section like this where they introduced like the bongo player, who God knows who that dude was, a background singer woman who I don't know who she was. You know,
That's I went years ago to see Ringo Starr's All-Star Band, and that's the whole show is that basically. It's pretty cool because they play songs from each person's catalog. But I mean, I don't know how many times he introduced Sheila E. to the audience.
who can blame him?
That's
who
true.
everybody came to see.
That's true.
Standing up, playing the drums. Was she standing?
Oh yeah.
Does she only stand when she plays the drums?
I think so. Yeah.
Exclusively. Huh?
Yeah, I think his rationale is the more times he introduced her, the more likely he was to get some action from her backstage. And clearly he didn't because he's still alive. Like action from Sheila E. on a man of his age would have surely killed him. But what a way to go.
How old is Sheila E.? She's got to be in her 50s.
Yeah, she's timeless.
By now. No, I'm not saying it. Yeah, I'm just thinking. She's in her 50s. And she's still doing it?
Escovedo, isn't that her last name? Something like that.
Could be.
Yeah.
She's still getting done. What was the reason for the standing? Was that ever?
It's just she was more of a percussionist.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, playing the timbales and whatnot.
Okay.
Typically done in a standing position.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, plus if you've got a...
But
I mean, let's face it, you've got a girl...
Yeah.
You got a girl playing something like that. You don't have her sit down and hide behind something.
Plus, part of her shtick is she would take a step back and kick the cymbal.
That's what I was going to say.
Kind of like the guy from Nitro hitting the cymbal with his forehead. It was her take on it. Yeah, it's easier to do that when you're standing.
I bet Andy could do that.
I don't know if I still could.
Right now, I bet Andy can do
maybe.
it.
She had that cymbal set up pretty high.
I was known for my ability to kick above my head at one point in my life.
I'll bet you could.
It's like the water bottle challenge that's been going around.
Yeah. Maybe so.
Yeah. Although in the, well, I know you guys aren't Prince fans, but I think it was in the Sign of the Times era videos. You know, she was perched behind a double bass kit doing her thing, so she can do it all on drums.
Sheila E.
What a woman.
Latinas. Anyway, how much time do we have left in this? Perhaps ill-advised
We should have just had
choice.
it playing in the background.
Let's do that from here on. Although, yeah, just let it go with the band introductions. I don't think we can talk over that.
There we go. How about that? Oh, Huey
Lewis.
Big ovation.
Introduce the guest first. It's a polite thing to do.
It is. See, I don't think this would be kind of not dumb, but to do it for like a bit, like 4-guy band that everyone knows. It seems like pointless in that case. But when you've got like, you know, it's a touring band and you got horn players and background vocalists who aren't in it normally.
Well, I mean,
and maybe it's appropriate there.
On Kiss Alive, both the first two, you get an introduction. You get Ace Frehley.
That must have been part of his
name
deal.
Dropped. Maybe because he wasn't at the mic very much.
Yeah. He was the only one.
You do get a Peter Criss on the drums.
Yeah.
On the second one.
On the drums, the one and only Ron Downey on drums.
Well,
great drummer, outstanding on this album.
You make your hands clap.
Now, the
he's talking some jive to the crowd right now. That's good stuff.
The man in black. Is our candidate for the next president of the United States of America. On lead guitar. Scott Gorham on lead guitar.
I'd vote for him in the next election.
I'd vote for Scott Gorham, yeah. I don't know what his
still killing it in Black Star Riders.
I don't know what his policies are, but
couldn't be any worse than what we got currently.
That's going to ramp up soon. It's going to be unavoidable, non-stop election coverage.
I'll be posting my Alice Cooper video.
Which was that?
The elected video, the music video he made. Been doing that since I don't know. easily since the 08 election.
We'd also like to thank everybody for coming.
Just that I chose this song. I guess this is what happens when
This is what happens.
when it's random and people don't discriminate what songs they're submitting off of an album.
Well, like I said, I think he just cast a wide net. But the other thing about Live Bullet, Bob Seger, Silver Bullet Band, and the Let It Rock, when he's introducing the band, he introduces each guy and tells where they're from in Michigan. Have you heard that?
But I've heard that move where,
Because I guess the whole band was from throughout Michigan, so, and it was recorded at Cobo Hall, so the crowd really responded to that positively. He just completed, or he might still be touring at the moment. That motherfucker is 74 years old.
Yeah.
He looks good for his age. Have you seen him?
Seeger will never stop.
Yeah. Well, he'll stop eventually, but I didn't know he was that old. He's still at it. Still kicking ass out there. Gotta give that guy credit.
Well, he started in the 60s, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got ZZ Top still out there, started in the 60s. Scorpions.
50th anniversary tour.
Yeah, Scorpions are on their, 54th anniversary.
Yeah.
I do like having a disagreement with the audience. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, what were they disagreeing on? Whether they should play another song?
Probably.
Yeah, what's the last song? Is it Are You Ready? No, that's not.
It's the Rocker, I think.
The Rocker.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's kind of like
Eric Bell era.
That's kind of like Andy used to do to the crowd during the songs.
I used to always yell, "Oh no,"
just
and with no explanation
for no reason. Instead of saying "Oh yeah," it was just "Oh no"
as many times as they could in one show, just to be dumb and make Nick laugh.
Well, and then you had Freddie Mercury at the I think it's Live at the Bowl where he's doing his vocal, his vocal stuff, and then the crowd does it, or was it Wembley?
I think it's Wembley,
where he just says "F you," and just turns
and
around,
walks away,
and the crowd goes nuts.
Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can playfully antagonize the audience, then you're a man. Like that's a mark of a master.
Yeah, and then they appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Axl Rose never really got full grasp of that.
Hit people.
Yeah, with his catcher's equipment on, spiking microphones at the stage.
Yeah, Afro Man never quite got it either.
Another good example.
Axl Rose and Afro Man just didn't get the memo. They didn't
how to playfully antagonize the audience.
They didn't absorb the instructional video on how to work a crowd in a playful manner.
They didn't make it to work on that day. Whatever happened with that situation?
There had to be legal stuff. Or maybe not. If she came up on stage and he hit her. I don't know.
It's just idiotic,
just
though.
A savage.
Gave her the Sheila E. to the cymbal treatment.
Pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, she messed up his solo.
She didn't mess up his solo. She gently grazed.
You know what he said? He saw her backing that thing up into him while he was playing his solo.
I don't go for that shit.
Yeah,
that was it.
And why would?
If only he was. If only he dismissed it that mellowly.
Who would have thought that Afro Man wouldn't go for that?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, but I mean, just saying,
a woman dancing on the stage. Why would he be mad about it?
And then dancing on you while you're playing a guitar solo.
Yeah, moving towards him.
If you're Afro Man, that's probably ideal. I would think. Well, no, I mean,
I'm about to say something that doesn't even need to be said, but I'm going to say it anyway. Trying to figure out Afro Man is a fool's errand.
Yeah,
You'll waste a lot of time, and you won't come up with any answers either.
I think Andy might legitimately be Afro Man's biggest fan,
It's possible.
and he's not even that big a fan.
No, I think I enjoyed like 2 or 3 songs a lot.
The Christmas album took you by storm for a little while.
Well, the Christmas album was just, it made me laugh, but it was terrible. Like Feliz Navidad was Police Got My Wad, or Stole My Wad, or whatever it was.
Terrible.
Yeah, it was all like that, where you would laugh at
not
it. But
Big Thropper level of
No.
parody or their response songs.
yeah. So, guys, it's time for us to vote. Sweet Surrender or Kick in the Crotch. Who wants to go first? Nick, actually, you
I'll go
chose it, so
first.
you pick.
I'd like to issue my kick in the crotch with an apology.
Oh.
It's a humiliating kick in the crotch!
Just that if I had known that this was just a blues jam, I mean, granted, a very well done blues jam, but just a pretty generic blues jam nonetheless. Hardly any lyrics to the song.
Yeah.
Barely any more lyrics than El Rancho had last week.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I mean, and that can be fine, but it just, I don't know. I'll agree with, I think Andy was saying that it's kind of a boring thing to include on the album.
Yeah, you got to fill up 4 sides of music.
I
But it's
guess
kind of
so.
similar to how I originally felt about Alive 2 having a studio side. It's like, give me 2 more live versions of Thin Lizzy songs here instead of a blues jam. I mean, I'm not even going to issue an apology. I'm going to kick it in the crotch myself.
It's a humiliating kick in the crotch!
Well, my apology was just to everybody from me because I chose the song not really. I could not remember the song at all, so I just went with it, and this is what happens.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
and to be honest, if I saw it on the list, I might have picked it, but I had forgotten that it was the 7-minute blues jam. I always, for whatever reason, mixed up with Are You Ready? Yeah, I'm not a fan of takes on the blues, and just I don't know. I mean, it's fun to listen to Phil work a crowd. Interesting to hear a Huey Lewis in strictly a musical capacity, not singing or being a front man or crooning one of his pop tunes. There's some interesting stuff, but literally of all the tracks on this album, this is the last one I would ever listen to. In fact, it comes up on shuffle. I usually kick right past it. I don't really need to hear a 7+ minute blues jam ever again. If I'm going to hear a 7+ minute song from this album, it's absolutely going to be Still in Love with You. Epic power ballad.
Last time I sat through a blues jam, this song was Guitar Shorty over by the Munster Town Hall.
Guitar Shorty. Forgot about Guitar Shorty.
Motor City Josh.
That's the best. Oh, that guy. He was good, fine, but that name is just awesome.
Yeah.
Motor City Josh. It's like that's like a Kids in the Hall sketch or something.
Mississippi Gary was
Right.
a Kids in the Hall
That's
sketch.
right. There you go, Mississippi Gary. That's what I'm thinking of.
And he had that bowl cut too. Just the whole look, the image was just. I mean, his album was really good actually,
Yeah.
but just the visual compared to the music was just a total disconnect. Because this guy had one of those deep, like, real deep timbre to his voice, and then you look at him, he's a skinny guy with a blonde mow haircut.
Well, to be that and be accepted in that scene tells you all you need to know.
I mean, the music was legit, no question about it. So I wonder if he's still out there kicking it. Interesting.
Motor City Josh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get that most of the music I like was influenced by the blues, but I just like to put that whole 1-4-5 progression to bed forever, unless it's someone who can really do it well. And it's not doing it just for the sake of making it easy to bring up some guest musician, which is 9 times out of 10 why they do it.
All right. Now, is this a studio track on any of their albums?
That I don't know. It's not on any of the albums I'm aware of, which would be, everything from Fighting on forward. So if it's either on Nightlife or one of the earlier Eric Bell albums, but that I do not know.
All right, well, I'm going to agree with you guys and give it a kick in the crotch.
It's a humiliating kick in the crotch!
Maybe not humiliating, but a kick in the crotch nonetheless.
Yeah. It's too bad that this is the first song done by one of Chris's favorite bands. And
yeah. There was a suggestion by a guy who's a lot smarter and more successful than us, who said that we should probably implement a little more show business sometimes, and maybe when we see a song by a certain band, maybe pick one that would appeal to more listeners.
Now you tell me.
Yeah, now I tell you. Well, we make it up as we go.
Well, really, everything was going to be a letdown after the big Thropper
That's
reveal
true.
earlier. So,
That's true. We should have just voted on that.
Yeah, and in fact, I think given the seismic impact of that song coupled with the length of this song, I think we should just bypass the art of questions and just give them another take of the big Thropper.
You want to do that?
Did you rubber stamp this one yet, though?
No, I
Got to
didn't.
do that first.
Okay.
Any objections to that?
No.
I mean, the significance of what we revealed earlier, again, coupled with the length of this song, I think we can skip the yard this week.
All right, well, let's rubber stamp it. If you disagree with us, we're sorry.
That's just the fucking way it is.
Yeah, and I got to say that I would never have anticipated giving a Thin Lizzy song a kick in the crotch. Well, there are a couple in the catalog that don't really float my boat, but yeah,
Sure.
this is my absolute least favorite on the live album, and I rarely ever listen to it. In fact, I don't think I've listened to it in several years. So, thanks a lot, Hot Take Troyan. Jesus. Well, he dumps out the whole Thin Lizzy catalog, so including this song, and of course Nick picks this song from the list. So, well, the generator picked it and Nick approved it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's off the list now. So strange stuff.
I bet Phil Lynott could have done one of the verses of probably Hip to Be Square. I think would have been most suited for his
that would have
voice.
worked.
I think.
You have him on a guest spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would have been good.
I don't think it ever happened, unfortunately. But
No.
You can see him crooning Stuck With You in the middle of a
Yeah.
70s arena, pot-filled 70s arena.
Well, let's do that big Thropper one more time and get ourselves out of here. Maybe there'll be another song next week. I don't know. We'll see.
There is another one.
There is another one. We might play it next week. We'll see.
Let's make sure it doesn't go up in flames before
Yeah.
the next episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for today. See you next week.
Hello, baby. Yeah, this is the big Thropper speaking. Oh, you sweet thing. Do I what? Will I what? Oh, baby, you know what I like. You give good face at a nice slow pace to that veiny thing I got hanging down. Let me flop onto my back so my flute you can attack. Fellatio makes the world go round. Ain't nothing in the world like a big-eyed girl. Take my meat spear deep, take it all from the street. Make me blow my load like a horny fucking toad. Oh baby, that's what I like.
You know, that piano sounds awfully similar to the Naughty by Nature DPC.
Sure does.
It does, doesn't it?